Hey, what is going on YouTube? My name is James and welcome back to another video. So today we're actually going to be reviewing the Seiko Orange Monster. Now this watch, if it's going to focus at all, I don't think it will, I'll sort that out in a minute, but this watch actually isn't my watch. This is my dad's. He actually lent it me so I could review, and I swapped him it for the SKX so he could experience this wonderful watch for a little while. And I recently got the SKX back and I'm going to be reviewing this and then comparing the two. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I think that should be very interesting. But obviously, quick disclaimer before we get into this, I'm not a watch expert. I'm just someone who's very into watches, collects watches and just likes to talk about watches. So I'm going to be reviewing this from the standpoint of someone like that and not an expert. But anyway, without any further ado, let's just change it up and get into the review. Okay, so the way I'm going to be doing this review is the same as I did the SKX, and that is going over the basics, then going over the pros and then the cons, and then my conclusion of the watch. Just to make it fair, really, I'm going to try and stick to that sort of way of reviewing watches on this channel. Now, as I said, this is actually my dad's watch. It's not mine. This is the first gen Monster, so it's a bit of the older one. It's actually from 2001, and I found that out through the numbers on the back. Just do a bit of research and you can find them out. Apparently the first number is the last day, or the last number of the year it was manufactured, so 2001, and the number next to that refers to pretty much the month it was made, sorry. So let's kick things off with the real basics. I've got my calipers right here. Obviously I've already measured it out, but we're just going to do it again for the sake of the video. Oh, and one more thing, this isn't the original strap. This is actually an aftermarket strap. My dad picked this up for around £80, I think he said, on eBay. So a really good deal in my opinion for such a great watch, but unfortunately it didn't come with a bracelet or a strap, so he picked up this aftermarket one, which is it's very comfortable. So let's start with case size. 42mm case size and a thickness of 13mm, so very nice sizes, and the lug size is actually a 20mm lug size. So now obviously this has a stainless steel case and it's got the orange dial, which I really like. I think it adds a bit more difference in comparison to some of the watches out there. Now this is the Japanese domestic version, so this one was made in Japan, which is really awesome, and this one has the 7S26 in-house movement that Seiko used, and it's in this watch as well. It's very reliable, very great movement. I have literally no complaints about the movement, but we'll get onto the cons. There are, I guess, one complaint about the movement that we'll get onto in a minute. It's 200 meters water resistant, the same as the SKX. Why am I comparing it to the SKX? I need to leave that for the comparison video. It's got Hardlex crystal, which Seiko obviously famous for using, and it has the most incredible loom I've ever seen. Now, because I still haven't come up with a great way to show you the loom, I'm going to put up a picture now. Okay, so let's get on to the pros of this watch. Now, it is incredibly robust and strong. Like, seriously, it has one of the most amazing build qualities I think I've ever felt. Now, bearing in mind I'm no watch expert, as I've already stated a million times, but it is very robust. It just has this sense of just pure solidness, you know what I mean? It's just really solid. Now, in my opinion, it's quite a heavy watch, and I'm actually going to weigh it right now. I haven't weighed it, so this is the first time, but you get a real sense of wrist presence, whereas this obviously is still very heavy, especially with this bracelet, but there's not a huge amount of wrist presence, which is really surprising in comparison to this. But anyway, stop with the comparison, god damn it. Okay, so let's weigh it. Obviously this is an aftermarket rubber strap, but let's see. Yeah, look at that, we're looking at 106 grams with an aftermarket rubber strap, never mind a bracelet. Like, I can't even begin to imagine how heavy this would be with a bracelet. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I literally just got interrupted mid-review by a phone call letting me know that I just got the job. I went for an interview for earlier today. I just got the job. I'll be giving you guys more information on it soon because it is for a watch company. The dial is very legible. As you can tell, like, the huge markers, the loom markers on the dial just make it very easy to see. It's a very distinctive hour, a minute hand with a very clear seconds hand with that extra sort of tip on the end of the seconds. Let me try and zoom in real close to the dial and bring the watch in. There we go. So you can really see how legible that is, and you can imagine with the loom, like at night, it's the most legible thing I've ever seen. You can just clearly tell all the time. Like I said, this has the best loom I've ever seen. I'm pretty confident I just showed you guys a picture of it. Again, just like the SKX, you've got the 4 o'clock crown, which is just awesome. It's not as well protected as the SKX. I need to stop talking about the comparison. That's for the freaking comparison video, James. Stop. But yeah, it's a very good crown. at the end of the day, this crown is so easy to use. It's so fluent to unscrew, change the time and screw back up. Like no hassle at all. It's just very, very, very comfortable crown. It also has a very smooth 120 click bezel, which just feels absolutely amazing to use. It's got incredible embossing on the case back. Like that is real embossing right there. You can feel it, you know, it looks incredible, feels incredible. Obviously it's that tsunami wave. It just looks so beautiful. Obviously the 7S26 movement inside this watch is just fantastic. It's very reliable, great power reserve, just runs like a charm, and it has a very satisfying sweep in my opinion. Although it's not the smoothest sweep ever, it's still very satisfying to watch, and it's definitely much better than quartz. And it has a very robust Tolley design. You know, you look at it and you just go, that is a watch for purpose. You know, you can just tell by the design that it's not really to be messed with. It's a very quality looking, well not quality, but, well it is quality, but you get what I'm saying. It's just a very robust looking watch. You can tell that if you smash this against a wall by accident, it's not going to fall apart at all. If anything, it'll probably do more damage to the wall. Okay, let's go on to the cons of the watch, or just the things I'm not so keen on. I have to be honest, the design, I much prefer the second generation with the shark teeth loom markers, or the markers in general, and the new hands that they use. I prefer that design, though this isn't me saying it's a bad design at all. I still think it's a very nice looking watch, but I just prefer the second generation over this generation looks wise, and also it's very Tolley, which I like, but at the same time I find a bit too distracting. But I'm not saying it's a bad looking watch at all. Again, the same complaint with the movement as with the SKX review. It's not got hacking, it's not got manual wind. It's just a bit of a shame. I think the latest ones do, generation 3, I think they have the updated movements, which is really cool. Personally, I don't like the 20mm lugs. I think this should have been 22, especially a watch of 42mm in size. I think it should have been 22mm lugs, but as you can see, this aftermarket rubber works perfectly because it's 22mm right there, but it comes out to like a 24 right here. But I just feel putting a you're gonna have to get a strap that wears bigger than a 20 on this watch. Otherwise the strap is just gonna look far too small, in my opinion, on this watch. I think 22 would have suited it a lot better. Now, rotating the bezel is very smooth, but it has to be done from these two areas. As you can see, there's like a gap on either side where it can be rotated, even less of a gap here. So you try and rotate it out of that gap, it's like near impossible. You can't really get a grip. Like, you can do it, but it's not very easy. So you have to kind of do it from these two areas, which whilst is very possible and still quite easy to do, it's just, it would have been nicer to be able to like completely rotate it around the whole of the watch. But then again, this shroud around the outside that limits the movement of this also protect the watch a bit better, so I understand. Sorry about that, was interrupted again. This time not good news, but just someone trying to sell me crap over the phone. I ain't interested. Anyway, back to the point I was making. This extra shroud really protects the watch that little bit extra, so I understand how or why they've done it. I just think it would have been nicer to be able to fully move the bezel without having to just do it from this point. But then again, who really moves the bezel that much? Personally, I play with the bezel, I turn it quite a lot, but in general, I guess it's not that big of a point. And obviously, the bezel only turns one way, it's not unidirectional, so that's a bit of a downfall. But then again, a lot of these downfalls I'm listing are just stuff that you don't really expect for the price range of this watch anyway. I'm just covering them so you guys know the things that could potentially be better with this watch. But that's the whole point of this review, just to show you guys the honest truth and what could be better. Whether it could be better within the price range or not, it's just things that could be better about the watch. So to conclude, I think it is an absolutely brilliant watch and will definitely serve you well as a beta watch, as a diver watch. You know, it's just an all-round brilliant watch, and I just don't think you can really go wrong with it. Now, it depends on your taste, obviously. If not, I understand not everyone likes the design of the Monsters, so if you obviously don't like the design of the Monster, don't get the Monster. But at the end of the day, I still think it's a great looking watch, and you really can't go wrong with it. You know, you've got a quality movement in there. You know, they're not crazy expensive for what they are, and you're just getting a lot of watch for the price. Obviously, it can come on the bracelet, and I've heard the bracelets are absolutely incredible. So if you can get one on the bracelet, definitely pick that up and just get an aftermarket rubber. But yeah, overall, great watch with the best loom I've ever seen. It's just absolutely incredible. incredible. It's a very legible watch. You look down and you can tell the time immediately, no problem at all. So I have to say this is a brilliant, brilliant watch. But I'm getting the review right here. I'm not going to change back to your perspective. I can't be bothered. But I really, really hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, be sure to leave it a like and definitely keep an eye out for the comparison between this and this coming very soon. Hope you're excited. I'll see you all again in the next one, guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.